Hey guys, so something I've been thinking about for a while now, and that is how many years do I have left? And I know that for many of you, this is a very uncomfortable subject to discuss, but I'm not talking about like how many years are left on paper, how many years are, how many summers you have left, how many Christmases you have left. I'm talking about how many healthy years we have left. Where we can walk without pain, where, it's not going to be a struggle to walk from one room of the house to the other. And, being able to sleep well, being able to drive at night, or even to think clearly. And if you're a Gen Xer over the age of 50, I think for many of you, this is a very uncomfortable subject to think about because uh, we don't have, we might not have 30 good years left. And for some of us, we might not even have 20 or 10 good years left. I used to think when I was younger, I thought, my parents or my grandparents had really good genes. They lived till almost 90 years old. And I thought, wow, if you're 50 years old, you got another 40 years to live. But for a lot of people, actually for most, those years are not, you're not running around like you are now. And uh, a lot of you will have, a lot of us will have chronic ailments that are going to take away the enjoyment of our life. So these years that we have now in our 50s or 60s, this is our opportunity to take care of ourselves and to really maximize the joy in our life. And my question is, well, I'm not here to, I just want to remind you that I'm not here to try to scare you guys. It's more of a wake-up call for all of us to, look after ourselves. And my question is, if we have, if we only had 10 years, if we knew that we only had 10 years where we're going to be healthy, what would you stop wasting your time with? And that is the question today I want to discuss with all of you guys. And this is not a video to be morbid. But it's a video about the difference of living a long life compared to a quality life. And I think that's what we all want, is to have a very quality old age. I mean, who wants to be bedridden? I mean, my aunt, she retired from the bank at 65, and within 2 years she had a stroke, and she was committed to a care home till she passed at 82. And I'm thinking to myself, that's 15 years of her life was just spent in a bed. And it really forced me to really ask these questions and also to really take really good care of my health. I always done that, but I'm even more diligent with what I eat now, and make sure that I do all I can to make sure that I don't end up with or prevent a lot of these diseases. Um, I started thinking more about this when I was 50, when I turned 55, actually, because I think at that time there was just so many reminders of, that I was getting older, and that that finish line was so far in the distance is now right in front of me. So there were days I wake up and you look in the mirror and you have more gray hair, or you have that wrinkle that you never had a month ago. And you start seeing friends that are either passing, or they're getting chronic health conditions. Or you'll just run into that classmate that you haven't seen since high school, and you look at them, it's like, holy crow, they look so old. And you kind of look at yourself and wonder, hey, am I looking that old as well? And So those little things that just kind of hit you, and you start to think about these things. I mean, the other day I was at the mall, and as I was ready to head down the escalator, there was this elderly lady. She was probably about 75 years old, and she was carrying one of those collapsible shopping carts. And she was just kind of standing at the entrance of the escalator. And so as I was walking by, she said, "Hey, sir, can you help me with this and help carry my cart down?" And I said, "Absolutely." And I said, "How long you were standing there?" And she said, 15 minutes. I said, 15 minutes and nobody's helped you? She goes, "Yeah, I didn't want to do it by myself because I worried that I might stumble and fall down the escalator because of the weight of the cart." And I said, "No problem, no need to apologize or thank me because we're all going to get there sooner or later." But yeah, it was a reminder that holy crow, like I never want to feel that I'm losing my independence. I think that would be the worst thing, to depend on somebody, right? And for her to stand there 15 minutes, I just thought that's just crazy. So I think aging hits us, the Gen Xers, a lot differently than our parents did, because we're trained from a young age to delay life, to delay joy, to work hard, be the responsible one, get married, have kids, and basically push living life till later. And once we did all that, we'd be we retire and have this wonderful life. Well, we're finding out that that's not really reality, because people are not able to retire now. A lot of Gen Xers are not, because they're kind of sandwiched between different obligations. Some are taking care of kids, adult kids who can't leave the house because the cost of living is so high. Others are taking care of their elderly parents. Some got hit by the economic downturns over the decades and are worried about retirement and don't have enough for retirement. And so all these things are all hitting our generation. And I think a lot of us who are in our 50s now, and some in our 60s, are kind of wishing that we lived a little bit more when we were younger. I mean, I guess when you think about it, our anthem back in the 80s was, "Forever Young" by Alphaville. And I like to think of myself as forever young, but now now we're here, right? And I think a lot of us are finding ourselves squeezed by all these burdens and responsibilities. And we're not only taking care of elderly parents, but we burned out by our corporate jobs, but also a lot of us are experiencing health scares as well. And on average, I believe the stats say that we have about 9.6 to 10 healthy years left upon retiring at 65 before we have some kind of chronic illness. So we want to make sure that we are healthy to get around, but also do the things that we always want to do. Whether it's travel, maybe it's repair old relationships, working. Maybe it's to stop working at a job that we're no longer inspired by, right? Buying things we don't need, or wanting the permission to retire. I was sitting in I went to go visit my father-in-law, and I sat there in the commons room where they have dinner and so forth. And I kind of just sat back and observed the elderly over there. And I looked at each one of them. It just seemed like they were just existing. It was almost like zombie-like, and they're just head down, and they weren't really watching the TV. And I thought to myself, damn, I hope and pray that I don't end up in a care home like that. Because I told my students, I always joke with them that if I'm going to die on the jiu-jitsu mats, and when I pass, I told them just put me in the casket with my uniform on and give me a send-off. That's all I care about. So I think that's the best way I can imagine, going, right? As opposed to just wasting away, so many years in a care home. And I think it makes you realize when you visit a care home like that, that your health is not a guarantee. And I think a lot of Gen X have a hard time giving themselves permission to enjoy themselves, because we are raised in a time when if you didn't show your pain, you would push through your pain. Don't complain about the burdens of life. But now I think many of us who are over the age of 50, the weight of all this stress and burden on our shoulders is a lot to carry over the years. And I think it's really tough to ignore now. And I believe it's time for us to start prioritizing what really matters in life. A year ago, I started a life audit on my life, and I started to look at like what was making me unhappy, what was causing me stress. So I started to get rid of people, even longtime friends, like childhood friends, that really were sucking the life out of me. I had one friend that just, ever since I was 9, he always just loved to argue. And even when he was wrong, he would still try to make a point and argue to make it argued so that he felt that he was right. And I just got tired of it. One day, I just didn't return his phone calls and stopped completely, because I just thought to myself, why am I wasting my time for a few hours with this guy? It brings nothing to my life, right? And I started to also say no to things that took up my time, that didn't bring me joy. I began to focus on things that I want to always do. I always want to travel, because as a kid we couldn't afford it, and so that I made that number one priority in my life. And everyone's a little bit different. Maybe some of you don't like to travel. That's okay. You'll find other things that you love to do. I started working on projects that have been on hold for years. I started a side hustle that I really enjoy. And I can honestly say that after doing this, these are probably some of the happiest days that I've ever had, and feel so much freedom and also peace of mind as well. So I want to hear from all you guys. I want to ask the question for all of you is, what would you guys do if you only had 10 healthy years left? Would you remove yourself from an unhappy relationship? Would you travel more? Would you downsize? Would you make peace with someone that you are estranged from? Would you start a new side hustle? Would you reconnect with old friends? Or maybe reduce your stress levels? Or maybe perhaps retire today? I don't know. Who knows? But feel free to share below. I love to hear from you. I try to read all the comments, and I love hearing your stories. And if you like this channel and this video resonated with you, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and check out my next video. All right, take care, and I'll see you next time.